Tristan Kumar's Dying Planet, narrated by Tristan Kumar. Part 2. This Virus Kills. A few hours later, I woke up in an ER room. I sat up immediately, but the doctor standing beside my medical bed laid me down. Hey, calm down. You need to rest your neck, he said. Who are you? I asked quickly, still acknowledging my surroundings and where I was. I'm Dr. Philip. I need to ask you some questions, he said. All right, then, go on, I said, sitting up. Okay. He looked at his clipboard in his hands and then at me. So, we took your blood. You what? That was my blood, you know. You can't just do, I said angrily. We know. It was our fault. It won't happen again. Anyway, we took your blood, yes, and we found something abnormal, Dr. Philip said. Okay, I said, trying to follow along. We saw that your blood was glowing, he said. Wait. My blood was glowing? I asked. Yes, it was like nothing that I'd ever seen. I sent it to some scientists and they said that new unknown molecules were added to the blood of your entire body. So, that brings me to my questions now. Number 1, were you a victim of the red sun explosion? He said, as he looked at me with the intent of an answer. The what? I asked, even though I knew what he was talking about. If I told him that I was involved in the terrorist attack, he would probably arrest me or take more of my blood somehow. Trust me, I know you were. I just want to know if you'll tell me the truth to me. Nobody can hear us in here, so you're fine, he assured me. Then, yeah, I was near the school when it happened, I said, as he wrote down something on the clipboard. All right, number 2. Where are your parents? We couldn't find any known relatives of you, he said. My parents are kind of shy, so they aren't known, but I know where their house is, and I can walk back there. I lied. I wish the lie was true. Right now, the only thing I wanted was for my parents to ask them what was going to happen. No siblings or anything? Dr. Philip asked. I had a brother until he left home. I think he was adopted or something, but I don't really care about him anymore after leaving me, so why should I care? I see what you mean. That's fine. Now, the last question. What is your name? This was the question I feared. I wanted to forget about my name since the death of my parents, because I didn't want to hear it and become sad at a happy moment. I'd rather not talk about it, and please don't ask me again. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Right now, that is all the questions I have for you, but before you go, I have to explain something to you, he said, dropping his voice down. What? Since the red sun was created yesterday, thousands of cases around the world of a new virus have been popping up more and more rapidly, he said in a serious voice. Your point is, I said, this virus kills, and people are mad at the people who caused it, or who were the victims of it, and I don't want to be jealous, but it seems that all the victims of the red sun explosion are immune, and many people want their blood for the greater cause of humanity, he has said. So, I'm immune? I asked. Yes. And that's all I need to know. Have a nice day, I said in a happy voice, expecting him to stop me. If you're wondering why I'm not helping the cause, it was because of the dream I had. I knew there was nothing I could do about the virus, and also, I liked my blood, and I didn't want it being used or something. He didn't stop me, and when I walked out the door and closed it behind me, I was a bit scared. Everybody was looking at me as I walked by. I grabbed my jacket on the coat hanger near the reception desk and put my hood on. I didn't want people to start crowding around me, asking me more questions. As I walked into the elevator, I hoped nobody would follow me. Thankfully, nobody did. I sighed, and then the elevator opened. I seemed to have no more time on this planet to even wait for an elevator. I walked out towards the front door. People looked at me and shook their heads like they were giving me a warning. I wouldn't go outside. It's safer in here, someone said. Relax, I'm immune, I said in a chill voice. That's not the problem, but it was too late. I opened the door and looked around, but it was chaotic. Random civilians were shooting people. It was a war zone in the middle of the city. Some people in black clothes with a black jacket and a black neckerchief and some sick-looking sunglasses looked at me and yelled something to the other people. They all looked at him, and he pointed at me. They yelled something angrily in response, while some nodded. Then they aimed their guns at me. I ran back inside the hospital as they were about to fire. What is that? What's going on? I screamed desperately. People are desperate, sir. They want all you kids dead. As soon as possible. They want to use your blood to solve the fate of the world. You must remember not to let that happen, no matter how dangerous and ruthless it may be. They're savages, animals. Anyway, understand me? A doctor explained. Yeah, thanks, but did you need to make it that long? Sorry, I've got to go, I said as the elevator door closed. I had to move fast. When the door was about to close, I saw the front door of the hospital break open, and all the doctors were threatened to be shot down. I saw them drop to their knees with their hands up. They were demanding to know where I was, and they turned to the elevator as ran toward me. The elevator door closed, however, and I backed against the wall, already feeling a bullet that would have been in my head if the elevator was too slow. I headed to the top floor so I could devise a plan from there. But the elevator's lights went out and the door opened at floor 22. I needed to go to floor 45, but the elevator seemed to have stopped. I heard a creak at the bottom of the elevator shaft, and the elevator began to shift down. I stayed in the elevator, waiting for the worst. I pressed the button that opened the elevator door, and the moment I did, the elevator dropped. I only had a second to move, and luckily, there was a floor with a door open near me, so I jumped to the floor level of the door. The moment I did, the elevator dropped, and the door on the floor started to close. I pulled myself up as fast as possible, then rolled into the 22nd floor of the invaded hospital. The door closed. Then I looked around the building. The lights were off, and the floor was empty. I looked out the window at the end of the room and saw many people still swarming around the front door. I looked up and saw what I couldn't believe would appear. A military helicopter with some tough guys in the front seat flew up to the window. The light shined on me, and I squinted. They must have left the outside speaker on because they said, "Fire at will." I ran to the end of the room as the missile released from the helicopter hit the building. The helicopter flew back but continued to fire. The building began to tilt, and I felt like a fish swimming upstream. I started to slip, but I held my ground. Other desks and hospital materials began to crash into the window at the downward slope of the room and broke the window. The windows next to me were orange and black with smoke rising from the ground. I could see some red and blue flashing lights and more yelling and shooting. I crawled along the ground with my face scarred. The helicopter wouldn't stop, and that annoyed me. For some reason, a gun slid down from above me, and I dived down to the floor. I slid so fast, nearer and nearer to the window. The incline was so steep that I went faster and faster the more I went. I grabbed the gun, and with my perfect untrained aim, I somehow shot the helicopter driver. The driver jerked back, and people jumped out of the helicopter. The helicopter flew down into the crowd, descending from the stars of the night. Kind of ignoring the fact that I had just shot a man, even though he was trying to kill me in the first place. That's karma. Anyway, I grabbed onto the beam of the window, but more things came. I looked down and imagined the worst beyond the dust, pure gunfire and blood all around. I jumped because I didn't want to get killed by hospital furniture. I saw the ground and somehow landed, until I felt nothing. I woke up back in the darkness with the butterfly. Why was this happening to me again? Once again it landed on my finger, and I respected the pureness of it once more. I dropped once again and sighed. What could this mean? Why does this butterfly of the entire cosmos and universe keep on coming back to me? I didn't want this job. I wanted to be a regular kid with his parents alive. I had to figure this out before the explosion. Too bad I ended up in the only place I didn't want to be when I died. This episode was once again recorded by Tristan Kumar, and if you want to see what happens next, then check out the next video in the series. And thank you, and have a great day.